So I don't know if this is a concept that you guys have thought about before, the duality of autism. I often find that my experiences are often split into two things, two different feelings, I guess. Like currently, right now, I would say that I'm going through this desire to be alone, to have my alone time. But I'm also very sensitive to loneliness. I can experience, love and irritation within the same moment. And I guess I want to talk about that today. Before I get into this video, I just wanted to say that I'm currently going through what I can only describe as quite an extreme burnout. So if I don't appear to be my usual self, or if you don't know me, then it doesn't matter. I will be what I am. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Elena, and I was diagnosed with autism at age 25, and I'm currently 28 years old and trying to share my experiences of what I go through, and what I am currently experiencing is just this constant push and pull of my internal world and my outer experiences, and they're always fighting, they're always competing. And I just needed to get it out of my system and talk about, and hope that this is something that other people go through. Number one, the push and pull of socialization. I think everyone, not just autistic people, but everyone craves deep kind of connections, not this surface level friendship. But the issue with being autistic or being neurodivergent is going through extreme amounts of social fatigue, getting exhausted by social interaction. And so we do have, as I've said, this push and pull of like what we want, what we ultimately want for our lives, and what we're actually physically able to give. I've actually started back at therapy. I don't know why, that just made me really emotional to say. But I have had to start back at therapy with my old therapist back in New Zealand. And one of the first things she asked me was, have you created a friend base within Toronto? And I would say for the most part, I definitely have started that, but not in the ways that I thought it was going to look. What I realized is my issue isn't, I believe that I don't have friends. I feel currently that I actually feel crowded by the fact that I can't actually right now physically process my emotions. I'm so emotional in this video. Why? I feel that when I'm within the company of others, as much as I want that and as much as I need that at times, I feel that right now it's becoming increasingly harder for me to be in the moment and feel present with people, because naturally I am somebody who absorbs the energy of others. Whatever it is, whether it's good, whether it's negative, whether it's neutral, I am unable to process what I feel because there's an immediate consideration for the other person beside me, even if they're not even interacting with me. Just knowing that I'm completely alone and isolated allows me to go, okay, I can think for myself and I can process things for myself. And so I'm really battling this anxiety, the social anxiety at the moment of like, I really am in a way starting to fear going outside and absorbing more people's energy, because I feel the more people that I'm around, the less I'm able to give to myself. And that's quite an uncomfortable space for me to be in. I think it is quite a big reality for autistic people. Emotional intensity versus emotional shutdown. Feeling things so intensely but unable to actually verbalize these emotions. In some ways, I guess in other words, it's called alexithymia, which is the inability to recognize and be able to verbalize your current emotions and your experiences. I think that I have always been someone who feels things to an extreme degree. I think that can be seen even right now, because everything I say, everything I'm saying right now, I'm feeling kind of a reaction, and a crying reaction, because I feel like I'm talking about it with somebody. But when I'm by myself, I struggle to kind of understand what I'm feeling. I think my emotions have been so grand for so long that I've actually gone inward and shut down any needs that I have had for 7 months that I have been living on the other side of the world in Canada. So I think in some ways I'm going through an emotional shutdown. And I think actually right now what's happening is I'm coming out of it. I think I'm coming out of it, and I'm feeling everything again in extreme amounts. I can't seem to be able to stop the tears at the moment in this video. So that was not the intention, to come on here and cry. Regulation struggles. I think when life feels good and when life feels really, really difficult, I go to routine. I think routine has been a part of my life, a part of my learning structure, a part of my processing of stress for my entire life. I've shared this story before, but my nana, who had 7 children of her own, saw me learning to walk as a child, and she said that she had never seen a more determined child, a more regimented child, because I had this little route that I used to walk around the house. It gives me confidence. Routine gives me confidence that I can do hard things and I can do challenging things. And when I don't have that confidence, I grip on even tighter to the routine. And the routine saves me in some ways, but it also hurts me. And what I mean by this is, currently, as every day looks so uncertain, and as my future looks so uncertain, I am trying to still go to the gym every morning and tick off different things that are on the vision board that I made for myself at the beginning of this year. And if I don't do those things, then I feel like a complete failure. But if I do those things, I'm not really present, and I'm not really patting myself on the back for doing them. You know, when I'm at the gym, half the time I'm like, this is really hard, I feel so exhausted, this is really difficult for me, and it's challenging my mental state right now. So I'm not actually present within the moment. I'm just ticking it off just to say that I've ticked it off, but there's no feeling of fulfillment in that. And then if I don't do it, the repercussions are even worse. And this morning I started off, truthfully, I got up this morning at 11 in the morning, and this is something that I haven't done in a while. I think my body is needing to sleep, and so I'm trying to allow myself the rest that I need. But because I didn't go to the gym this morning and have this routine that I feel that I should, now I suddenly think, it's Monday morning and I'm going to have a shit week because I made a shit decision. I'm trying to be kind to myself. God, I feel like this video is already such a mess. My voice is going, and I just feel so emotional. But it's hard, to show up for yourself when you are just such a deeply sensitive person and your emotions start to feel like they're getting the better of you. And that's kind of what's happening right now. Identity and self-expression. I think that for so many of us, we are wanting to be authentic to ourselves, but we mask out of fear of rejection. I know that I can speak to so many of you when I say it's really, really hard to know who we are without that mask. We can feel so confident at times, in our uniqueness. You know, most of my life I have felt this surety in who I am, and I've been very, very proud of who I am. It's been other people, the fear of fitting in, the fear of being rejected, the fear of being misunderstood, that the insecurities have kind of stepped in. But if I was left to my own devices and my own energy, I don't think I would have experienced quite so many issues with masking. The concept of an identity has been a lesson that has never been more prevalent than it is currently in my life. Learning about who I am and what kind of life I want to be living is at the forefront of my thinking. It's really funny. I don't know if other people do this, but you know, I often find my special interests through people. I become obsessed with people, and anyone that knows me in real life can probably attest to this. You no doubt would have seen me just become absolutely besotted with somebody, and there's a reason for that. I believe that they provide a sense of grounding and a kind of roadmap to the type of person I can be and what type of person I like. And currently I am going through a little bit of that again. I have just read Lisa Marie Presley's book with her daughter Riley, which was, first off, an incredible biopic, probably one of the best biopics I've read, and maybe the only biopic I've read, but it was so incredible. And just a side note, another favorite book of mine that I have read recently has been I'm Glad My Mum Died by Jeanette McCurdy. Both these women I have since gone away and watched interviews with them talking and describing their really tough experiences in life. As I was watching them, what I realized was they weren't trying to, pretend like their experiences weren't hard. They were authentic to what they were feeling in that moment. And it was kind of a learning experience for me to watch them, obviously do these interviews on a very large scale. And, no doubt in those moments, they're feeling nervous. People are interviewing them. They've got to have their answers ready. They've got cameras in their face and maybe even an audience. And yet they're still able to tap into their experiences. And where I'm getting at with all of this is that is something that I don't do. If there is someone talking to me, whether that's the cashier at the supermarket or, God, I don't know what else, a family member talking to me, my answer is really dictated by what I think they are wanting from me. And I try and put out an answer that is just so nicely tucked away into a little box that they will go, oh, okay, that wasn't too heavy and that actually made me laugh. That is not real. It is not real. And I think these two people, Riley Keough and Jeanette McCurdy, I think I've made these two my special interests currently as a way for me to learn that you can still be liked and still be admired for being real and not being so pretty packaged, for being honest. And that was a very long-winded answer to identity and self-expression, but it is something that I'm learning to do. I guess what I am trying to say in all of this is that it is totally okay to be 1 minute learning and the next minute unlearning, to go from this desire for connection, but also a need for solitude, to feel confidence, but then really deep questioning of who you are. I think the autism experience is always going to be filled with that. We are such deep feeling creatures that I don't believe that we're made of the same stuff as neurotypicals. It's why we've always felt like aliens, I guess. I think the perfect example to leave you with is that for so many of us, we can be going through a really beautiful moment, and we can be cognizant of the fact in that moment that this is going to become one of our most favorite memories that we will forever look back on, and that one day things won't ever look like this again. And so this really beautiful moment can be at the same time filled with sadness and almost nostalgia even as it's happening. I don't think you're broken or wrong for feeling those things. I believe that, and I don't know why, but I believe that we all, before coming into these meat suits, these bodies, I believe that we said, I want to experience the full human experience. I want to feel the highs and I want to feel the lows for everything that they are. And we got that, as hard and as challenging as it is, we also find the joys in the simple things. And I think that's a really beautiful thing as well. It's not always a bad thing with autism. We are able to find gratitude in the simple moments. And I just want to leave you with that, just to remind you that you are probably getting such a fuller, richer human experience than most people that you're around. And that's what makes you different. And that's what's going to be something that you look back on at the end of your life. And I believe that we'll all agree that it was worth it, as hard as it is and as challenging as it is and as sad as I am today, as defeated and as heavy as I feel today. I know that it won't always be like this, but right now it's all encompassing, and that's just because of the way that I was made. So thank you so much for listening to this video today. I really, really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more of my content, I will leave all my links down below. Thank you. Have a good day or night. That was such an awkward goodbye, but thank you. Bye.